Alright, welcome to game 2. This is going to be Allstars versus Is Coh2 Good Yet once again. This time it's going to be on Vo farmlands. The factions have been switched. Sib and Ciez are going to be playing as allies. Double Soviets, of course, as usual, versus Mixed Axis, as usual, over there on the right side. If we take a look at opening builds, Siberian is going to go with conscripts straight into tier 2, probably going to be going with Maxims. I think that's something that he tends to like to do, although on this map it doesn't perform that well because of how many fences there are, and it's important to keep in mind that Maxims can't hop fences. However, he's in the north area of the map, not the south area, which has most of the fences. The north doesn't have quite so many, so possibly an intentional strategic decision there. Ciez going with double combat engineers actually into special rifle command, and we will see sniper first, so he's probably intending to support his teammate. I would be surprised to see him lone wolf it in the south with nothing but a sniper, especially against an Oberkommando player, but who knows, we'll see what he chooses to do. Run to the Sun going with Volksgrenadiers, or no, excuse me, Kubelwagen first, Volksgrenadiers following up, and the Kubelwagen is actually moving straight into this road, immediately going to shut down any pushes by Ciez. So the first engagement already happening at the 1 minute and 20-second mark. Combat engineers do not make an immediate retreat, they actually hop the fence, but they do get suppressed, and now they will be forced to make a retreat as the Stern Pioneers move to follow up, and Symbiosis is going to go with a double MG42 start. So this is actually the exact same strategy that they saw in round 1, and if Ciez and Sib did their research and watched the video of round 1 on YouTube, then they might know exactly what they're going to be up against here, since this exact strategy has already been showcased. We'll see what happens though. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they are building exactly to counter this, going sniper first against that MG first. It almost seems like they're building exactly to counter what they think Symbiosis is going to do here. That being said, we'll see if they're able to execute on that knowledge. Maxim moving up to screen for the sniper, very nice. Good to see this synergy and teamwork. Going with tier 1 and tier 2 at the same time as double Soviets is of course very powerful. It gives you so much versatility, and you're able to just fulfill all the different roles that your army might need all at the same time, all very early in the game. We do see that the north fuel will be taken unopposed by Siberian up here, and his combat engineers. The sniper is moving up to take shots at the MG42, and there is also a scout car available to give line of sight, although he's keeping it kind of far in the back. It looks like he's actually trying to keep it in position to counter a push by that Kubelwagen. Very nice. Although unfortunately these combat engineers are pinned, but they should be fine now that the sniper has forced the machine gun to pull away. Scout car moving up a little bit, taking shots at these Volksgrenadiers. Kubelwagen will be forced to reposition. And I think at long range, the Kubelwagen can actually maybe beat the scout car, but at short range, of course, the scout car will have a huge advantage over the Kubelwagen. So it's important. Positioning is so important. Kubelwagen has to constantly keep on the move. Machine gun also being set up. We will notice that the battle group headquarters is in the exact same spot as it was in round 1. So certainly no surprises here from Allstars. Going with the exact same strategy, not trying to switch anything up at all. And we're actually going to see a similar build from what Ciez did in round 1 too. He seems to like going with this double scout car followed up by double sniper build. Hopefully he'll be able to make it work here. And it seems like a pretty good choice against these machine guns, but he's having a little difficulty, I think, positioning his snipers just right to hit those machine guns safely. We actually do have Symbiosis' mortar here, firing on those Maxims, forcing them to constantly reposition. Conscript's trying to move up to give vision. Unfortunately, Siberian did not produce a mortar of his own, instead continuing to produce Maxims. That he does have a second one on its way. He also has a little bit of light harassment happening up here in the north, and I think an important thing to take away from round 1 is that this strategy leaves Symbiosis and Run to the Sun quite vulnerable to being cut off, especially in the early phases of the game, because of how much they concentrate their forces in one tiny little area. So we'll see if Siberian's able to take advantage of that, and it looks like he is already. going for those cutoff points. Maxim is moving away, trying to get into a better position. Sniper also continuing to take shots. This one already has 4 kills. This one still hasn't quite made it to the front lines. There it is. Both of his scout cars also rather damaged. It looks like he hasn't been able to really... He hasn't really been able to get those into an optimal position. He can't charge too aggressively with them because of how densely packed the Axis forces are, and he's having difficulty engaging at range because, of course, the MG42 will definitely have quite the advantage over him. And it's getting to be about that point when a Panzerschreck is probably going to be hitting the field like any second. I wouldn't be surprised if it's upgrading right now. No, apparently not. Actually, it looks like they're kind of hurting for munitions. The Axis are. We will note that the Allies have either control or at least denied the munitions from the Axis for a long time. So, yeah, Run to the Sun still can't quite afford a Panzerschreck. In fact, I think that's what's motivating this decision to get a Raketenwerfer. He can't quite afford a Panzerschreck. He wants to be able to engage these scout cars at range. So he does have a Raketenwerfer hitting the field in addition to a Sturmoffizier, so he has gone Jagdtiger. Certainly no surprises there. I think the Jagdtiger is definitely a very integral part of this strategy that Allstars are using here. Since in round 1 it certainly gave them the range and firepower that they needed to break out of their defensive position and really secure most of the map and get that victory point countered down. Snipers taking shots at Grenadiers over here, doing what they can to maintain control of the munitions. If the Allies can't maintain control of both fuels, and certainly this area, or even necessarily both victory points, at least they can maintain a very firm grip on both of these munitions points. And having a really high munitions income, look at that 58 coming in for the Allies right now, can be instrumental in unseating one of these just super hardcore Axis defensive positions, because it does give you access, of course, to more upgrades, and more importantly, more indirect fire and artillery options. If we take a look at the Soviet doctrine selections, we will have guard motor coordination and probably ISUs. No, double guard motor coordination, isn't it? I think that's double guard motor coordination, yes. So we could see a massive amount of T-34-85s this game. Of course, there is a Jagdtiger on its way, so it's going to be quite important for the Soviets to just massively overwhelm this defensive position with a huge swarm of medium tanks before that Jagdtiger arrives. It's going to come down to timing and positioning and map control in the medium and early game, or mid to early game, early to mid game. Lots of back and forth here for these munitions points. The Axis really struggling to even take the victory point, actually. And the Allies doing a nice job of harassing the bottom fuel. Very good to see. There is a 2-2-2 on the field. Ooh, nice anti-tank grenade, though. Those conscripts are probably going to continue to chase. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Ooh, if those combat engineers hadn't retreated, they probably could have helped finish it off. The conscripts might be able to do it on their own, though, if we take a look at Siberia. He might even just try and go for another AT grenade. 9 seconds left on the cooldown, although I think he might be able to finish it with small arms fire. He's continuing to chase. Smoke gets popped. Grenadiers are trying to engage him too. It's off cooldown. He does get it off. He is throwing. There it goes. Out of control. The scout car is down, and the conscripts will make it away with only 3 model losses. So kind of munitions expensive to take it down, but I think it was worth it to get that off the field. Ooh, a heavy mortar is getting produced. Very nice decision. 2 heavy mortars, in fact. So there is going to be a massive amount of indirect fire falling on these defensive positions now. It's going to just, depending on RNG, of course, that could inflict massive losses. I think there's almost no doubt in my mind now that Sib and Siberian watched round 1 and are playing to counter exactly what they think. Ooh, they're going to be up against here, and I think their strategic decisions have been really on point. Ooh, guards in the M3 snipe the Kuba with their PTRS rifles as well. Nice usage of the guards in the M3. We definitely saw some of that in round 1 as well. Heavy mortars inflicting massive losses already back here. Decrewing certain team weapons and wiping models. Ooh, looks like, what was that? Was that a Panzerschreck? Or was that just... Oh no, the Raketenwerfer, I think. That Raketenwerfer has 6 kills. It sniped that scout car and took out 5 guard models in the process. Very nice. Mortar half-track hitting the field, positioning him behind this house as he did last game, going to try and inflict some losses on some of these team weapons with that, but I think that Soviets might have the Axis out-mortared here. Heavy mortar is going to make its retreat. This one, fortunately, is in a slightly safer position, and it is bombarding the Axis positions. We also have a little bit more harassment happening down here from Siberian. He's actually going to skip right past the strategic point and try and, I think, go straight for the fuel, or maybe even straight for the victory point if he just wants the clock to run out as fast as possible. Yeah, it looks like he might be going straight for that victory point. Oh, nope, never mind. Maxim getting cleared out by Grenadiers. Looks like it's going to get away, though. He didn't burst it down. He probably could have finished it off if he had wanted to. Looks like we do have some harassment happening up here in the north as well. Minesweeper Pioneers going to be moving to take the northern fuel. Panzer Grenadiers grabbing the munitions, and it looks like this munitions has fallen to the Axis as well. So the Axis are now finally in a much better position for territory, boosting their munitions income significantly, and hopefully giving Run to the Sun a chance to actually purchase some upgrades. He does have one Panzerschreck cooking. He's probably going to get a second one in the very near future, or possibly just plant some mines. And we'll also see that he has produced the looks, so he should be able to do some good work with that. Forcing away some light harassment down here in the south. Good use. The looks is probably one of the best options the Oberkommando West have to counter harass because of its high speed and excellent damage against infantry. The other option, of course, being the Puma,
Enemy flanking us!
Which, if it closes into very close range, can force away infantry that have like no anti-tank ability whatsoever, like shock troops or paratroopers. Mines getting planted on the road here. We also have some counter harassment happening up here in the north. The minesweepers were forced away by that conscript squad, and it looks like a Maxim is actually going to be sent up to the north to defend against further harassment. The heavy mortars are also being moved back into position. Looks like they might be bombing the battle group headquarters itself directly, and we have a pretty heavy push actually going for the south this time. Rather than continuing to hurl forces at the defensive lines, they're actually going to try and make a push down there for the fuel, I think. Ciez doing what he can with his snipers, picking off grenadiers, which is good to see, but he does, of course, need to be mindful of the looks, and Maxim taking quite a bit of damage, and the field gun is not really in range to support. We actually have a fuel cache going up too, so the Soviets are trying to bolster their fuel income a little bit in preparation for their call-in tanks. Snipers taking shots at the stern officer, but the officer model does not go down. T-70 hitting the field from Siberian as well. Great to see this tank making more of an appearance in this tournament. Hopefully he'll be able to make good use of it. Already inflicting heavy losses on that car. Not much else yet, unfortunately. Keeps hitting obstacles in its way. Ooh, there we go. Conscripts making a pretty futile charge for the center here, pretty much immediately forced to retreat. If we take a look at the snipers, we do have 14 and 4 kills between them. Flare going out. I'm not sure where that was aimed. Probably somewhere in this area. Katyusha is being fired. Probably right here then. Oh, that was a pretty good one. Inflicting more damage than losses, unfortunately. So that's going to bring Siez's Katyusha to 2 kills. Hopefully he'll have a little bit more luck next time. The battle for this area continues. The heavy mortars actually are slowly chipping away at the battle group headquarters, but I think they're having a little trouble getting into range safely to actually bombard the battle group headquarters itself. Constantly being forced to retreat when falling low instead of just repositioning, and of course, without an American on the team, it's very difficult for the Soviets to reinforce in the field. The M5 half-track is an option, but an ambulance is, of course, preferable. One of the few ways in which the Americans can provide an advantage. Rifle grenade going out on that heavy mortar, but it doesn't do much. Infantry moving up to screen against these grenadiers. Lots of mortars falling, though. That's going to be Symbiosis's mortar, as well, or Symbiosis's mortar half-track, as well. Well, I guess this was Symbiosis's mortar, but it got cleared out and Run to the Sun has recruited. Oh, geez, what is that T-70 doing? It just drove right into a briquette mortar. Oh, geez, and it gets taken out. Unfortunately, the T-70 has not performed very well in the tournament. We've seen it plenty of times, but it certainly hasn't performed very well. Its counterpart, however, has been doing very nicely. And I think one of the reasons for that is the looks just seems to come out so much earlier than the T-70 for some reason. I guess the T-70 in theory is a little bit better, but considering how late it arrives, it's hard to find a good role for it. And now the Axis are doing quite well for map control. All Soviet pushes have been shut down. Artillery being fired again in this zone. Ooh, getting some nice hits. Still only 5 kills though. Could have been worse. Definitely could have been much worse. Run to the Sun still doesn't even have a retreat point unlocked. I think he, I think he got it quite late last game too. He waits very long to unlock that, preferring to just soft retreat, if you will, when necessary and when making a hard retreat. Causes him to not have so much map presence, but he times his hard retreats quite well in the sense that he only really does it when he knows that he has a lot of time before the Soviets make their next big push. Second fuel cache, by the way, happening right here from the Soviets. Soviets are losing the northern fuel and victory point, unfortunately, though. So it looks pretty bad for the Soviets, actually. It's going to come down to indirect fire again, getting lucky barrages and hopefully making big plays with whatever their next high-tech units are. Siez does have 200 fuel stockpiled since he did not opt to purchase a T-70, although he does have a Katyusha. So there is that. Siberian still is down considerably. Oh, that's because Siberian bought a T-34. Okay, that explains it. Ooh, Mark vehicle goes off on that. Or no, not Mark vehicle. I think that was Button. Yeah, Button actually just went off on that Lux, which was caught horribly out of position in front of that field gun, and it does go down. More heavy mortar fire continuing to fall on the Axis infantry, although that minesweeper needs to... Oh, they clearly just got stuck on retreat. That should have gotten away. What a shame. What a shame. Maxim moving up to counter-harass once again. There is a Panzer IV making a push up here. However, the T-34 is ready to meet it. Could come down to who gets more lucky hits. T-34 is awkwardly positioned low. Both shots randomly missing. Also a field gun up to support. There is a small S-mine cluster here. It looks like he didn't finish completing a full S-mine field. He just opted to complete a partially constructed one. But that shouldn't be much of a deterrent. Conscripts will be able to simply walk around it, take the point. Heavy mortar fire continues. If we take a look at the kill count, we will see 10 kills on Siberian's heavy mortar and 7 on Siez's heavy mortar. So actually nothing too catastrophic. Both of them have hit Vet 1, so I think they're doing respectable damage, but fortunately for Run to the Sun, they have not inflicted any particularly devastating losses just yet. By comparison, Symbiosis' mortar half-track, sitting pretty much AFK here the entire time, is already up to 20. Run to the Sun's mortar has 4. So Run to the Sun hasn't really been all that impressive with his recaptured mortar, sadly. The mortar half-track is doing what it can to pull both of their weights. That scout car just barely making it to safety. We do have the snipers moving up as well, getting some kills. This one apparently doing way better than the second one, 17 to 6. It's kind of odd actually to see such a huge disparity between two snipers. So clearly that second sniper needs to take some hints from the other one. Maybe I can give it some tips. Panzer Grenadiers they're rather clumped for that flame burst. Looks like nothing too bad happened. Oh, that T-34, this could be nasty. Oh, the shell missed. I think that could have wiped that squad. Ooh, sniped by the field gun. He doesn't pursue that squad, and that apparently was the right call, because if he had gotten too close to that Panther with the P4 nearby to support, that certainly could have gone very poorly for him. The field gun is in fact going to have to pull back a little bit and reposition. Maxim getting cleared out. Snipers continuing to scout around for targets here in the south. Flare being used, trying to spot the Rakettenwerfer, possibly also spot for the Katyusha, which is firing. Heavy mortar fire continues to fall on the battle group headquarters, chipping away at it just a little bit. Unfortunately, they haven't really been focus firing it, forcing repairs and possibly getting squad wipes on the repairing squads, because they've been a little bit having a little bit of difficulty getting the heavy mortars in range, and probably also want to take out higher priority targets. There is a Panther on the field now defending the central victory point. Soviets are making an attempt at recapturing the left side munitions point, and we do have some harassment of the south victory point, and apparently this Maxim walked all the way around the reinforced steel barricade and is now defending the one entrance into the victory point area, so this may have actually backfired just a little bit. They will probably need to send a tank, or possibly just move around the side here. It's going to, I don't know, it's going to depend on who can react appropriately to this. Meanwhile, we have finally got the T-34-85 call-in being brought in by Ciez. Oh, heavy mortar fire also continuing to fall in this area. If a Katyusha barrage were to come in right now, it could be devastating as well. They're quite tightly clumped. There is a pack in the area supporting. Does manage to get one shot off on that T-34. The Panther is also moving up to take shots. Lots of combat happening here. Heavy mortars also continuing to wreak havoc in the area. Just look at this. This is all from indirect fire. I don't even know if a single tank shell has landed on this yet. In fact, I would be surprised if the Allies even know the state of this truck. They probably don't even realize how low it is, or they would probably start focus firing it with their artillery more. That Panther, ooh! Some really unlucky shots on that Panther. Its armor just isn't working, and the T-34-85 is bringing it down to half health. Oh, what was that? Something just exploded over here. I'm not sure what it was. It wasn't the T-34. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Oh, I think they really are going in hard on trying to focus fire this thing down now. The Katyusha firing in the area, doing massive damage to everything defending. I think it's going to go down. Just one or two more barrages. Ooh, the T-34-85s are going to push up and try and finish it off, I think. Grenadiers trying to Faust, but it's not. I think that's almost a little too risky. I'm not sure they're going to get away. They do round the corner, but it's just too much. The swarm of medium Soviet armor continues to push, but they're not firing at the battle group headquarters. They're firing at other targets. We actually have more T-34-85s called in from Siberian, circling around the bottom, clearing out the pack, and they will have no problem destroying this battle group headquarters now, continuing to actually wreak havoc on all kinds of stuff in the area. Looks like he's actually thinking about going in hard on the Panther. I don't know if I agree with that decision. There is a completely dead Panzer IV right there. There it goes. Does get taken out. But this T-34-76 is so overextended and gets taken out by the Schwer Panzer headquarters. It looks like he is reconsidering his attack. Volk squad just got wiped. This one could get wiped any second. Marked vehicle is still active on the Panther, but no shots to penetrate. Or no, excuse me, Button. Button is active. More heavy mortars continue following in the area. This guard squad does make it away by a hair, and now he's actually going to try to finish it off with his field gun, and probably he will be successful. There it goes. Although he did donate that field gun to his enemy in the process. And I think if they had if any of that massive swarm of medium tanks had just taken a moment to fire one shot at that battle group headquarters, I think that sacrifice would not have been necessary. Katyusha firing again. Almost wiping that Volksgrenadier squad with inflicting no other losses. And I think throughout that entire engagement, the heavy mortars did a lot of damage. This one has 21 kills and the other has 15, so yeah, that's pretty good performance by them, and both of them are now vet 2. Snipers are actually at 16 and 27 kills as well, so they're doing quite nicely. The Panther, I think, did some pretty good dancing that game, taking out one of the T-34s, but unfortunately a Panzer IV was also lost, so pretty even trade, I would say. So I'm not sure. I guess I think that engagement definitely went in favor of the Soviets, but they were already kind of behind. They did manage to recapture the north in the midst of all that. The Axis now trying to move to counter-harass. The south also did fall to the Soviets, but is quickly being retaken as well. Although these conscripts, I think, will be able to continue to keep the harassment going, since there's nothing but a minesweeper squad down here to deter that. Unfortunately, the north has no counter-harassment available from the Soviets. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these tanks got sent up there to deal with that before the next big push towards the center area. And unfortunately, despite such a light defense on the munitions point, the Soviets are hesitant to try and take it because, of course, the Axis counterattack could be brutal. Is that assault artillery? Yes, it is. I wonder why he did that. It costs 200 munitions to do that. I'm not sure what motivated that. There's nothing in the sector. I think he just completely randomly did that. I think he was kind of hoping to hit this giant blob of stuff as it was like leaving the base, maybe slow them down. But he should have used that a good like full minute and a half ago if that was his intent. Heavy mortar firing, but there's nothing really stopping this blob from approaching, unfortunately. The T-34-85s are moving up, the snipers are moving up in the back, but there's just nothing screening for that heavy mortar. It could go down to oversold on fire. It looks like they're actually going to pull back, though, not wanting to get picked off by snipers and T-34-85s. He's moving that up so far, I think, so that he can bombard this. Yep, that's what he's doing. He's trying to take out that mechanized regiment headquarters, potentially shut down a fuel or munitions transfer, neither of which is active, but certainly there's no harm in trying to take out Oberkommando West tech structures. The Schwerer Panzer HQ might be a more attractive target, but if we're being completely honest, I don't think Run to the Sun has any intent of purchasing any more units from his tech structures. I think he is now saving up for a Jagdtiger, probably going to be spending the rest of his manpower on reinforcement this game. And Jagdtiger, ooh, something's happening to that mortar half-track. Unfortunately, it does manage to get clear. Before it can be taken out, ooh. Grenade going out on those Volksgrenadiers. Unfortunately, the very long fuse and throw time of the guard grenade, I think it's like one of the longest in the game, makes it quite easy to dodge, and the Volksgrenadiers will get clear. Damaged engine on this Tiger. Heavy damage going out on that Panther as well from marked vehicle. But those T-34s are really hesitant to dive in with that Tiger there to defend. And just lots of back and forth with these munitions. Meanwhile, up in the north, I don't even know what happened. It looks like this entire S-mine field got blown up by something. There were grenadiers up here, I think, harassing, but they're gone, apparently. I don't know why this point is decapped and belongs to nobody with explosion marks all over the ground. I'm really curious about exactly what happened, but it probably wasn't good. PTRS on the ground. Sturm officer model does go down to the coaxial machine gun. Katyusha also firing. Oh geez, the mortar half-track is so out of position. Oh, this could kill it. Oh, nice smoke getting popped by, I guess by the half-track actually. I think Siberian did use attack ground to try and snipe it, but unfortunately it just didn't work. It That will be getting some quick repairs from the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. Soviet armor up here in the north also being quite aggressive. There is a stolen field gun, unfortunately, in the area to defend, and it deals a pretty heavy blow to that T-34-85, and the Panther is back up to full health. Oberkommando West has just massive repair potential compared to the Soviets. Soviets might be the faction with which it is hardest to get effective repairs, followed of course by Allstars.
Protect the flank!
So the only way you have of doing it is either going Soviet industry, which neither of them have done, or spamming a bunch of combat engineers, or using a doctrine with self-repair, but I think that the self-repair ability is extremely cost ineffective. Because while it's active, as you can see, it quite negatively affects your munitions income. Siberian has it active, and you can see he only has 20 munitions coming in, whereas his teammate has 43 munitions coming in. So it actually cuts your munitions income in half, or by more than half, in fact. And that's just so expensive for the entire duration of the ability that you're using it. And that's just to repair one tank. So, and it has an activation cost of 30 munitions. So throughout the full course of the usage of that ability, depending on what your munitions income is, it could cost you maybe 50 or like 50 to 75 munitions just to activate that munitions, just for repairs, which is ridiculous if you ask me. But especially considering how slow it is and the fact that it has so many other disadvantages, such as you can't use it in combat, and you're immobile and the gun doesn't fire, and on and on and on. Still, considering his other option, which is spamming a ton of combat engineers and needing to have them in position, looks like he just has to do it. He doesn't have any other huge munitions sinks. Ooh, nice opening volley as soon as they come back into the field, dealing quite serious damage to that Volksgrenadier squad and forcing a retreat. This has been cleared. Stern Pioneers also retreating. Marked vehicle is up on the Panther, but Run to the Sun is just keeping it at a really nice range, making it very difficult for Siberian to push, and that could have been catastrophic if that plane had landed like anywhere else. Oh geez, heavy damage going out on that T-34. It's going to be forced away. The field gun does get a shot off on the Panther, but now that it has the Vet 2 armor bonus, it's really quite difficult for them to finish off. There is a Katyusha firing in the area, but unfortunately it's a little bit off target. These T-34s also doing what they can against the hordes of Axis infantry in the middle, but there is a Tiger moving up to screen. Ooh, look at the damage, making things very difficult. And the fact that these tanks are so spread out has given the Soviets very nice control over both munitions and both victory points again, but they're having difficulty winning engagements because they don't have like a nice big massed force of tanks to just dive super hard on some priority Axis targets like they did with their first push where they took out the Panzer IV. And of course they're getting out-repaired big time. If we look again, really struggling to keep these tanks repaired, just have to mass combat engineers as much as they can. Meanwhile, the Tiger's back up at full health. This Panther, new Panther hitting the field. This Panther's going to be repaired to full in no time with Stern Pioneers, Mechanized Regiment HQ, these Pioneers helping with the repairs. T-34s continuing their dance with the Run to the Sun medium armor, and certainly Siberian is the Soviets are. I think they're outproducing their opponents ever so slightly, but it's kind of on a razor's edge actually. Now that there's two Tigers, I actually think I would take that back. I'm not sure that 6 T-34-85s is enough to take on 2 Panthers and 2 Tigers. It definitely comes down to mines and field guns and other supporting things. Going in hard. Ooh, marked target is up on this Panther. Damaged engine on that one. Huge push by this medium armor. Look at it all go. Inflicting massive damage on both of these Panthers. but it's all on the frontal armor, and lots of shots are being deflected. There he goes. One Panther down, the other one probably soon to follow. This T-34 trying to get to safety. It's heavily damaged. It does get clear of the arc of that pack, but the Tigers take it down there on the flank. Run to the Sun's second Panther also goes down. These Tigers now are are left with cleanup duty, though, taking out all of these T-34s, which really have no chance against them. One Tiger reduced to half, the other one reduced to 3/4. It looks like Ciez's T-34-85s, two of them at least, made it to safety. One of Siberian's tanks may have an opportunity to escape here. He's trying to maneuver around some hedges for protection, but he's getting caught by that Volksgrenadier squad, and Fleck bursts as well. I think he may not be able to escape from this Schwer. Panzer HQ, oh no, abandoned by a Panzerschreck shot by some supporting Volksgrenadiers. Oh no, that's disastrous. And that's what happens when you send tanks in deep with nothing available to support to hopefully scuttle a tank that gets abandoned. That hurts. That could be game-changing right there. That was a huge engagement. Wow. Okay. Katyusha. Oh, he's firing his Katyusha. He's probably hoping to take out that T-34, but he probably doesn't know where it is, really. Yeah, it's pretty off target. He fires it at max range to give it a broad spread and try and finish it off, but unfortunately, it's nowhere in the area. Field gun is rather overextended. That's gonna get cleared out, no problem. Ooh. Grenade going out on some conscripts too. Wow, just look at the massive amount of craters in this area. The map is completely unrecognizable at this point. Combat engineers getting counter-harassed by grenadiers over here. They're going to be forced away. Apparently this this fuel cache got destroyed. I think an assault artillery might have gone off in this area. If it did, I missed it. Panzer grenadiers. Oh, nice mortar. They're going to be forced to retreat. Combat engineers trying to get control of the victory point once again. Unfortunately, the Allies are really struggling to get that clock to tick. They're actually at quite a victory point disadvantage right now, 250 to 350 roughly. And now that they've lost three of their T-34s and handed another one over to the enemy, they're going to struggle in the next big engagement, although there is a silver lining. Both of Run to the Sun's Panthers have been destroyed, so that is something to keep in mind. The only armor that they have to contend with is one T-34 and two Tigers. Two Tigers, of course, probably would have been preferable to taking out the two Panthers, but still, it's something. If we take a look at resources, we'll see Siberian has 180 and Ciez actually has 530? Wow. Ciez has a huge amount of resources stored up. His teammate's certainly not doing nearly as well at unit preservation as he is, but unfortunately the high pop cap of his guards and snipers and field guns means he can't call in any more units. Which would explain why that would definitely explain why the Soviets are struggling a little bit to outproduce their opponent, despite having maintained pretty good map control. Pop cap. If only Ciez could hand some of his resources over to his teammate, who is losing a lot of manpower through conscripts, I believe, which he is using to harass various locations on the map, potentially also recrew team weapons or even merge. Looks like he may also be trying to grant line of sight. Oh, nice heavy mortar, just wiped the Sturm Pioneer squad. That is not good for Run to the Sun. He really can't. I don't think he can really afford for that to have been happening. Also, the fact that he spent so much resources on Panthers means that his Jagdtiger is significantly delayed. Although, I think if he had purchased a Jagdtiger, the Axis would be in an even tougher position right now, because 6 T-34-85s is a lot for a Jagdtiger to try and take on, even supported. That is a huge threat. I think 2 Panthers was probably the way to go, but now that they've died, and his teammate does have 2 Tigers now to fill in the gaps, it's probably going to save up for that Jagdtiger. And he's actually done a nice job of preserving his Volks. Since Volks are so durable, they tend to survive into the late games. His Obersoldaten, unfortunately, don't have much veterancy or kills, really. Probably because their opponents are just primarily using tanks. It's mostly about tank fights. Jeez, that T-34 is a little out of position here. There is a field gun moving up to screen. Very nice. Oh, jeez, keep moving it away. What is he doing? What is he doing? Oh, man. It's great that he took out the Tiger, though. I would say that that's probably a pretty good trade, but still, that's a shame that that happened. Oh, no, and an Axis T-34 is moving up and actually hits a mine, gets its engine damaged. This is now a T-34 battle. This one has double vents, so it probably will have the advantage. The shot there bounced low. Katyusha also firing in the area on something. The Tiger's moving up. It is marked, though. There's also a field gun, 2 field guns in the area to support. But these Panzer Grenadiers, ooh, or Shreks are sniping the models. Grenade going out on the other one. And both of them will get cleared. Oh, and a stray Panzer Shrek wipes out the T-34. I think he overestimated its ability to survive that engagement, and both of those T-34s will go down. Run to the Sun's T-34 will make it away alive. Tiger is now at Vet 2. One Tiger was destroyed, however, so it's a bit of a trade. Taking out that heavy armor is always a high priority, but losing 2 T-34s is a high price. Conscripts oorahing forward, not sure what they're hoping to accomplish here. Threw another AT grenade, just trying to stack up the damage. Looks like he may be trying to soften it up for a big push from Su-85 from Ciez. Wow, look at that. It looks like he doesn't think he... Well, actually, I don't know what motivated that decision. I'm not sure. He definitely could have afforded more T-34s if he wanted to. But he chose instead to cook up 2 T-34 or 2 SUs. Interesting. So it looks like he's actually going to try and engage these tanks at range now, rather than try to swarm them with medium armor. But Siberian certainly has no intention, no intention of ceasing the Allied war machine. He will continue to spam those call-in tanks. Let's take a look at Ciez's snipers. 23 kills on that one and 43 on that one, and his Katyusha up to 25. Oh, jeez! I'll bet Run to the Sun doesn't even know what just happened there. That Obersoldaten squad just dropped. Wow. Repairs going up on the Tiger. This is a fresh Tiger, actually. The Vet 2 Tiger is over here, so that's going to be 3 Tigers. These Grens getting counter-harassed hard by Siberians, T-34s, and man, this is just a brutal match for victory points at this point. The Axis continue to maintain their advantage, but if the Allies could just pull off one really decisive push, who knows what could happen. I hope that those Su-85s are able to make a dramatic impact, of course. If a Yag Tiger hits the field, that could be a huge problem for them. But that's not going to happen anytime soon, because Run to the Sun actually opted to get a Stuka. I think that might be the extent to which he is annoyed by the enemy's snipers and guards. SU's moving up to fire on the Tiger. Ooh, and that's, I think, marked vehicle going off there. He will pop smoke to get to safety. Nice use of those SUs on that Tiger, outranging it. Getting some nice, lucky penetrations on the frontal armor. AT weapons circling to stop this push here by Siberian's armor, unfortunately. And I think that Stuka is a really risky purchase against so many T-34s. All it would take is just pop, and it could go boom. All he has to do is leave it out of position for 1 second. Oh, jeez. He was about to barrage. He had to cancel to reposition. Those T-34s are maybe going in hard. Oh, but it's the perfect bait. Oh, jeez. No. The Stuka bait was too tempting, and it cost him a T-34. That's such a shame. I almost wonder if Run to the Sun intentionally purchased the Stuka just to draw those tanks into an unfortunate position, and I think that one is in a pretty bad position too. Not sure if it'll make it out of range. It will get clear, just barely. Snipers moving up as well, taking shots at Obersoldaten here. Guards and MG42 actually screening.
Incoming fire!
Stuka is now firing. This could be a really nice barrage. Ooh, wow. Actually inflicted very respectable damage to that Su-85. The other two are in pretty good position. That's 3 Su-85s now Ciez is producing. Or is it 4? Oh no, that's a Katyusha. Okay, so yes, 3 Su-85s. As guards desperately trying to grab the central victory point here. Grenade getting tossed. 3 of the 4 models getting wiped out. Wow, look at all those Panzer Shreks. And like I said, the repair potential of the Soviets is just not enough. He's gonna have a lot. It's gonna take him forever to repair those. Ooh, if he even gets the chance, big flank happening by a Tiger and another T-34 here. That T-34 goes down. 1 Su-85 has gone down. These ones are trying desperately to get to safety. Oh, jeez, I don't know if they're gonna be able to. There's a field gun here to screen. Oh, that Su-85 shot just barely missed. But this T-34, however, has no intention of slowing down. He's going in hard. 1 Su-85 does go down. This one has to continue to try to outmaneuver. The field gun hasn't been rotated. Oh, taken out by an Axis field gun. Damn, what a decisive engagement that was. That went extremely poorly. Extremely poorly for the Soviets. And I think that there's not going to be any coming back from that. There's the retreat bug. We have to make sure that the retreat bug makes an appearance in every game this tournament. Okay. There it was. I fulfilled my retreat bug quota for this matchup. Katyusha makes a feeble attempt at a barrage there, doesn't do much. I actually think that Katyusha kind of underperformed this game. Considering it was a 45-minute game, 27 kills is not enough. Not enough. I think that it could have done better. It's just a little too random, either a little too random or it just didn't quite, he didn't pick his targets well enough. Who knows? Stupid firing. Oh. Sniper sprint clear of the barrage. Guards will retreat largely unharmed.
Push your attack. They are down to 50 points.
Tiger moving up, supported by a giant Axis blob of infantry. Last ditch attempt by CS crushes a bunch of infantry there, flanking around behind the Tiger, trying to get some shots off. There is marked vehicle going off. Both shots penetrate on the rear armor. He's circling around. AT grenade damages the engine. Going for the mortal victory against the Tiger. It looks like they could do it. Oh, smoke! Attack ground! No, bounce and miss. And the Tiger's going to get clear. And we actually do have a Yag Tiger hitting the field as well. Interesting to see it hitting the field so late. I'm surprised he didn't call it in earlier. Changing up his strategy a little bit from last game. I guess he didn't feel that it was necessary considering that their opponent did not go with ISUs. And like I said before, probably the right call to go with just more Panthers when faced with such a massive wave of T-34-85. So good to see that the All-Stars didn't entrench themselves too hard in their round one strategy, adapting to what their opponent was doing. I think their opponent was countering them hard right off the beginning, doing everything in their power to just blast this defensive position with the full might of the motherland. So I think going Panthers was the correct decision. Well played by both players. I really enjoyed that game. 48-minute game, non-stop action the entire time, and that means that this is going to go to round 3, game 3, and that's going to be the very first matchup of the entire tournament to go to game 3. So without further ado, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get started, jump right into that.